Hello, so today we're in a different room and I hope it's not too echoey. There's not a lot I can do about that, even though I've got a microphone on. And I thought today that we could talk about saving money in the bathroom. Now, it seems like there probably wouldn't be that much to do in a bathroom that you could save money on, because we always think about reducing grocery bills and walking instead of driving, that sort of thing, all of which are completely valid. But I thought we'd have a look at the bathroom today, because there are some things you can do that can really help reduce your spending on products and water usage. So let's have a look at them. I'll just move the camera around so you can see what I'm doing. So talk amongst yourselves for a minute. So the first tip I'd like to tell you about is using liquid soap. Now, as you can see here, the soap's quite viscous, it's quite thick. And what you can do is when you get to a level like this, or anything from halfway down, you can top up the soap with some water. So just unscrew the plunger, add some water, screw it back on, give it a shake, just mix the water with the soap. It'll go a bit bubbly, but that will subside. And then you've got, well, from what I had in here, double the amount of soap now that you can use. And it's still, reasonably thick, still does the job, but you are saving money because it's going to last longer. So that's a really quick and simple trick that you can do. Another thing you can do with pump dispenser liquid soap is to take an elastic band, and you see where the pump gets thinner. If you put the elastic band around that section of the pump dispenser, oops, I need to do it once more. That's probably enough. So can you see that? You've got the elastic band around the narrow part of the pump dispenser. Now, when you push the plunger this time, it will only go down possibly halfway, so you'll get less soap. And that is another way of making the soap last longer in order to spend less overall on the amount of soap that you have to buy and the money you have to spend. This one's particularly good if you've got children or grandchildren, because they love pumping these dispensers. It's fun to push it up and down and see the soap come out. So they can get through an awful lot of soap without actually using it for the purpose it's for, just for playing. So by reducing the amount they can get out of each pump, you're saving yourself some money on soap. Staying with soap, the final thing is if you use bar soap, it is much cheaper overall than the liquid soap. It lasts longer, much longer. I know some people don't like using bar soap because it has, it leaves like sort of scummy sludge in the soap dish. But it's just a matter of adding some water. It'll dissolve, clean it out. It's no biggie. But if it's not your preference, that's fine. But if you don't mind bar soap, it will last longer and it's cheaper to buy in the first place. Okay, moving on to toothpaste. If you read the ingredients on most, tubes of toothpaste across the spectrum of prices, you will find that most of the ingredients are identical. We have added fluoride in our toothpaste. I don't know if that's worldwide or whether it's I don't know, just UK, Europe, America, not sure. But certainly in the UK, we have fluoride added to our toothpaste to help protect the enamel around your teeth. Now, I know some people have a problem with fluoride and don't think it should be in there. Oh, that's another debate, isn't it? But assuming that you're okay with fluoride being in your toothpaste and it's in the toothpaste that you're looking at, irrespective of price, then that toothpaste will work and clean your teeth nicely. A lot of the price of, say, a branded toothpaste like this one goes into marketing and advertising. So basically, you're paying for that while getting the same amount of product per, they're usually 100ml tubes, aren't they? So per 100 mils, you're paying for the advertising and a tiny bit for the toothpaste. Whereas if you buy a cheaper toothpaste with the same ingredients, an own brand one from a supermarket maybe, then you will save lots of money in the long term. None of these tips are going to make you a millionaire, but they do add up. It's surprising how they do add up. Another tip for tubes like this, so this one's denture, what do they call it? Adhesive cream, basically denture glue. Toothpaste, tubes of antiseptic cream, that type of thing. There's always a lot of product left towards this end of the tube. So in this case, this one's very annoying because it's split along the seam. Why they have to put the seam on this side rather than sort of down the middle, I do not know. But if you press it all up like this towards the top, you can get, I don't know what they're called, what the term's for, but it's like a twisty thing that it holds the toothpaste tube and squeezes it. And every time you turn it one whatever circle, it squeezes the contents up a little bit more. But you don't need to spend money on one of those. Just as simple an idea, but cheap because you've already got it, is a spoon from your kitchen drawer. And you can just, hang on, let me move you while we try and see that. Can we see that? If you just push the edge of the spoon along the tube, you can move the toothpaste or the cream up to the top so that you can get more of the product out without wasting it. And you don't need to buy a separate gadget to do it. So that's quite an easy way of doing it for free. Just squeeze, push it down and squeeze. And then when you've got to the point where you can't get any out of the cap by squeezing it to the top, you can get a pair of scissors and cut the tube up towards the end, open it up, and you'll see how much product is left. Can you see that? How much product is actually left in that tube where you thought you weren't going to get more of it out. And that's incredible, isn't it? You know, that's, well, I don't know, 1/10 of a tube, 1/8 of a tube, which is an awful lot, really, if you think you're just going to throw that away straight away. So then you can, well, if it's toothpaste, you can just put your brush in and take it out, or you can take it out on the end of a spoon or a little spatula, whatever you've got to hand. And you can use all that product up then and save some money by not having to replace it as soon as you would if you hadn't have taken the time to squeeze it to the top and then cut the end of the tube off. Another good way to save some money. On the same theme as filling up your soap, you can do the same with shampoo. This is a flip top with a little hole in it to get the shampoo out. But if you just unscrew the main cap, you can see that it's got quite a wide hole, and you can add some water when you're near the end of your shampoo. Give it a good shake, and you'll probably get 2, 3, 4 maybe extra washes out of the bottle. So don't throw that last little bit away. Add some water, give it a good shake, and you'll get a few more hair washes out of that bottle of shampoo. So let's have a chat about some more ideas of how we can save some money in the bathroom. Using reusable period products is going to save you a lot of money. So if you use them yourself, or you have daughters, nieces, grandchildren, whatever, who are in that stage of life, they're having periods and they have to use products, maybe suggest to them, if they don't already do it, that it would be a good way to save some money and the environment if they use reusable products. Now, these weren't really around when I was going through puberty and 20s and 30s. Not even sure they were around when I was in my 40s, to be honest. They've become much better known now, and a lot of people are advocating for. Now, when I was growing up, and until I went through menopause and don't have to use them anymore, we had VAT that we had to pay on personal feminine hygiene products, which I thought was outrageous, because VAT is supposed to be on luxury items. And I don't know about you ladies, but I do not consider having a period every month a luxury. It's expensive and, you know, painful, whatever, depends on the person. But it's definitely not a luxury. So thankfully, for people who are still using those products now, or are going to be using them in the future, the VAT in the UK was taken off feminine hygiene products in 2021. So that's great. Should have been done a lot sooner, but better late than never. And then after a little bit of research, I found out that the VAT has now been taken off reusable period underwear, so period pants. In 2024, they took the VAT off them, because I think before it got away because it was underwear rather than feminine hygiene. So the VAT has been removed off those now. So reusable products, obviously you can wash them and keep using them every month. I know that some people use a moon cup, which goes inside the body and then can be taken out and cleaned and then replaced. I believe they cost between sort of £15 and £30. So, you know, some money up front, but they can last up to 8-10 years if you look after them and keep them, you know, sterilised and hygienic. And then period underwear, obviously that's washable, and you can, you know, you can buy a number of sets up front, so you will have that cost, but they can be used over and over again. And according to some of the manufacturers' sites that I was looking at before I made this video, you can wash them, you know, 50, 100 times, so they'll last you up to 2 years. If you think about how many periods a woman has in her life, that's an awful lot of non-reusable products, which are more expensive per month. So if you can afford that outlay, you're going to save a lot of money over the years to come. If it's, you know, part of your life at the moment, or part of girls that you know's life, then reusable period products are a good way to save money. In terms of saving money on water, you can buy tap aerators. So under the tap, you've got like a little screw-on, I don't know what they're called, nozzle, to control the flow of water. And if you buy a tap aerator, it's the same thing, but it's got little holes in the end so that less water comes out. So you're using less water per wash, is that the word? Per use than you would be if you just had a standard tap. And you can buy these quite cheaply, either online or plumbing shop or whatever. And all you have to do is unscrew the original one and then screw in the new tap aerator, making sure that, you know, it's in level so that it doesn't spray out sideways. And that can save you a lot of money. In the same vein with shower heads, if you replace your standardized shower head with low flow shower heads, it reduces the amount of water coming through, you know, per second. Therefore, you will use less water overall. And even better, if you keep showers short, that will be even less water that you're using. And if you're on a water meter, then that's a good way to save money. And also, if your shower is fed by the boiler, you're going to be using less gas to heat the water, because obviously less water, less gas to heat it. So if you can replace these items with more low flow equivalents, you will be saving some money. So give that a go. If you're buying new products like soap, liquid soap, shampoo, things like that, if possible, buy a refill rather than a new bottle. They just come in less plastic in general, and you can top up your bottle as you need it. I think also in some places, certainly online, you can buy large bottles of product that you can then dilute and add to the bottles you've already got that you've saved from last time. And that's because you're buying in bulk, is a more efficient way of buying those products that you use every day. So if you can, refill rather than replace. And the final tip, number 10, is if you use a razor, use a safety razor rather than disposable razors. So again, it's one of these things that has the upfront cost. So it's not possible for everybody, I realise that. But if you are able to cope with that upfront cost, then over time, you'll make that money back and more. So all you've got to buy then is the replacement blades to go in the razor, but the whole unit itself you can just use and use and use for years, again, if you take care of it. And you're not throwing all that plastic away every time you need to replace your razor. At the time of purchase, it may not seem so expensive, but overall it is. So they're just a few, 10 ideas of how you might be able to save money in your bathroom. You know, they won't suit everybody. There's plenty more. If you're interested, I can do another video about some other ideas. Try some of them, see if they work for you. If, say, like the bar soap, that just doesn't appeal to you because you don't like the mess, fair enough. But, you know, an open mind to try things. You know, we don't know if we like them until we try them. So have a go, pick one or two that you like the idea of, give them a whirl, let me know how you get on with them. And I will see you in another video very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.